breaking news, Lasha Talakhadze is officially coming out of retirement to take an attempt at a 4th Olympic gold medal in LA. This is not speculation, this is not a rumour. I have official confirmation from his camp that he has actually returned. So in this video, we're going to take a look at everything I've been told by his camp about his comeback, how Lasha's career ended, what the new landscape of super heavyweight weightlifting actually looks like right now, when we can next expect to see him compete, plus my prediction about what he's actually going to be able to lift. Okay, so it was late last week when I saw a post on Instagram from Dr. Georgie, Lasha Talakhadze's physio. It was a normal day. And then in the video, Lasha Talakhadze walked into the training hall. I left a comment, I asked what was going on. Lots of people saw it, lots of people liked the comment, everybody was interested. I then had a lot of internal discussion with everybody here at Weightlifting House about could he actually be making a return? It does kind of make sense, it does kind of fit my thesis, which I somewhat sort of kept to myself because it wasn't quite fully fledged, that maybe he would take 18 months off, come back for the new qualifying procedure and try and compete for LA 2028. So I reached out to Dr. Georgie and I asked him, and he replied. Let's go through the messages. Here's everything I've been told about Lasha's comeback from his camp. So is Lasha making a comeback for a 4th gold medal? The answer, yes. Will he be back in time for the World Championships or the Europeans? The answer, we don't know yet. It depends on training. How long has Lasha been back training? So far, he has only competed a few training sessions. So it's early days. Have the 18 months of rest since the Olympic Games helped his body to recover? The answer? He's feeling much better, fully rested and in a positive mood. He has no issues troubling him at this stage, which I guess is good. I mean, if he was already having some troubles, 4 days in, it wouldn't be great. Is his goal LA 2028? Answer. He's determined to stay in top shape and, if the opportunity arises, to target the gold medal in Los Angeles. And finally, does he still believe that the 500 kilo total is possible? The answer, while he admits that lifting 500 kilos is out of reach, he is ready to give everything he has to win. For now, his focus is on building a stronger team alongside the federation's president and head coach, Georgie Asanidze. Now, I was a little bit confused about the last one, not about the 500. I'm sure that is out of his capabilities these days. But back in May 2025, or April, Lasha was elected Federation President, but it was just mentioned that the Federation President was Georgie Asanidze, something for me to clear up. Okay, so let's take a look at how Lasha's career ended. So a quick reminder, Lasha had his first Senior World Championships win in 2015. He actually came second on the day behind Alexei Lovchev, but Lovchev was popped and Lasha was then subsequently awarded the gold medal. By 2017, he snatched 220 kilos for the first time. He went on to win 7 consecutive World Championships, 7 consecutive European Championships, and 3 consecutive Olympic Games. I think it's hard to argue, but you can make an argument against it, that he is the best weightlifter ever. But it's worth remembering, in 2022, things changed. He was coming off the high of the 492 total, the heaviest total of all time. And prior to the European Championships in Tirana, Albania, he was injured under a 260 kilo clean. He was still able to come and win that European Championships, but he never quite reached those heights again. The most we ever saw him again snatch was 223 kilos, which is a massive snatch, and he did that at the European Championships in Yerevan 2023, the following year. And then 255 kilos in the clean and jerk, again massive, just not quite the 267 all-time world record in the clean and jerk that he'd done prior to the injury. And towards the end of the last qualifying period, it really honestly just felt like he was trying to hang on for the opportunity to get that other gold, but his body was falling apart. I mean, I remember in 2022 at the World Championships in Bogota, hearing that he was lying on the back being given air in between clean and jerks. And then towards the end of the qualification period, he competed at the 2023 World Championships. He then missed the European Championships 2024. He then didn't compete at the last chance qualifier in Thailand 2024. So basically a year after that Riyadh performance, he then turned up to the Olympic Games, having given himself a lot of rest and a slow build, and he just scraped the win. He snatched 215, Lalian snatched 215, Gore snatched 216, and in the clean and jerk, he made 255 for the win, a 470 total, but Lalian was just behind him with 467, and he actually took an attempt to move ahead of Lasha, and I think he cleaned it, but missed the jerk. So Lasha won, and that was the last time we saw him, August 2024. So by the time he returns, it will be the best part of 2 years. And what does the new super heavyweight landscape even look like these days? Well, as kind of expected, it was either going to be Lalian or Gore who took up his torch. And it was Lalian. Lalian now is a 2-time world champion and a 2-time European champion. Prior to Lasha's retirement, he'd never won a senior international meet. Gore has arguably been in a slight slump, but at the Islamic Games recently, he put up a massive total. 213, 247, a 460 total. But there are 2 new guys who Lasha has competed against, but maybe not at their current level. The first is Alireza Yousefi from Iran, who in 2024 at the World Championships, he clean and jerked 262 kilos. It's been a long time since we saw a super clean and jerk over 260 kilos. And he looks like the only guy who can continually and routinely do this, and maybe even take a stab at the all-time world record of 268. He's not the best snatcher, but if he gets his snatch towards 200 kilos, he's going to become very dangerous. And then before we make predictions on what they can all hit, there's Ali Amar Rubayawi from Iraq, who I recently did a video on comparing his progress to Lasha's progress. Right now at Ali's age, I think he's 21, he's ahead of where Lasha was. He just snatched 212 kilos, he clean and jerked 246 kilos, and if he continues on the same trajectory, he could be better than Lasha ever was. It's unlikely that that will happen, but he is on a better trajectory so far in his career. 212 as a young lifter is unheard of. Well, it's actually never happened. No one that age has ever snatched so much weight. So if Lalian remains at his kind of best level, which on his best day is going to be 215, 255, that's 470. Gore, realistically, maybe 216, 250, that's 466. Then you've got Alireza Yousefi. I mean, let's say he can snatch 200, and let's say he does do 268. That's 468. So it's massive, but it's still slightly below what Lalian's best could be. And then Ali Amar Rubayawi, I think he's a huge question mark. I think if anybody's going to snatch 220, it will be him. Whether or not he does it, I don't know, but the way he moved 212, weighing so little, he's still got so much weight to gain. I believe he could be the future. He could be a 220, 260 guy. He could be the next 480. He could have the second heaviest total of all time. I believe that's possible with him, but too difficult to predict. So when can we next expect to see Lasha actually compete? So when I asked, they said they were unsure whether he was going to compete at the European Championships or the World Championships. Now, just to let you know, the European Championships is in Tbilisi. It's in Georgia, his home country, and that's this April. I think it's 19th to 26th. If he doesn't compete there, it'll be the World Championships in Ningbo. They span from October to November, and they act as the first qualifying competition for the next Olympic Games. It's worth mentioning. This is, we've spoken about this on the podcast, that this is what we thought he might do, but we thought it was very unlikely. It looked like he was completely retired and done for good. That he was in all this pain and he just won his 3rd Olympics and then he took time off. And if he ever wanted to go for that 4th Olympic gold, which he'd said he wanted before, no other weightlifter has ever done it. And even Kaki Kakishvili, the Georgian weightlifter who also competed for Greece and the Soviet Union, who's in Lasha's camp, said that he wants Lasha to do the 4th gold. So we said if he was ever going to do it, he would need to take a year and a half off. He would need to let his body rest, he'd need to lose weight, he'd need to take the strain of being 180 kilos, lifting all of this tonnage every single day off his body for an extended period of time, and then come back. And that's what it looks like he's doing. He's playing a very smart game. So will he return for the European Championships? I think it depends on a few things. Well, I think it depends on 2 things. Actually, I think it depends on 3 things. The first is, how does his training look? Is he anywhere near good shape? I don't imagine he would ever return if he wasn't snatching 200 kilos, or maybe even clean and jerking 240 kilos. I think once he hits that level, he might then look to compete. The second thing I think will be interesting is he willing to not win in front of a home crowd? If he goes to the European Championships and Lalian's in great shape, he'll probably come second. You know, even if he does 205, 245, it's a great total. But Lalian can beat that. And Lasha probably knows that. So is he willing to lose in front of a home crowd? Then the third thing is there any kind of relationship between Georgia and Armenia where they might say, this is proper tinfoil hat stuff, where they might say, hey guys, we really want Lasha to win this. Lalian always competes. Do you want to sit him out and maybe we will withdraw? I'm trying to think if there's anyone else they can withdraw to help Armenia win, but there's not really anything they could do. It would just be Armenia being kind, and I don't know why they would do that, because Lalian could secure a third win. Okay, I don't think that's going to happen. So it comes down to, is he in shape, and is he willing to come second in front of a hometown? I kind of hope he is, but I feel like he won't, but we'll see. And then my prediction, can Lasha do it? In my opinion, Lasha is already the greatest weightlifter of all time. I wrote a book called The Greatest Weightlifters of All Time, and it counted down the top 70 weightlifters ever by Sinclair. He doesn't have the number one Sinclair, but he's like, you know, he's number two. And when you compare him to somebody like Naim Suleimanoglu, Naim won lots of world champs, set lots of world records, won 3 Olympic Games as well. And so the only thing that they have that is different really is that Sinclair, and Naim has it. But, you know, there's also stuff to do with the fact that Lasha never lost, the fact that he lifted the heaviest weights of all time, which is sort of a bias against anybody who isn't a super heavyweight, but it's still something that exists. There's also a recency bias, just the fact that I lived and competed and commentated throughout Lasha's career is probably a reason why I believe he's the greatest of all time, but I genuinely do. Why did I even get onto that? I don't quite remember. What do I think he's actually going to do? I think it's a new era for Lasha, and I think we have to get used to seeing Lasha in a different way. I don't think we're going to be seeing 225 snatches. I don't think we're going to be ever seeing a 460 clean and jerk, a 260 clean and jerk again. I think in his best shape, or his average, I think in his average shape, we're going to see Lasha snatch 215 and clean and jerk 250, which is a 465 total. At his best, we might see 470, 215, 255. We might even see 210, 245. The thing to remember, which hasn't been announced yet, but you can check out my Instagram post, my personal Instagram, Seb_Ostrovich, is that the qualifying procedure has changed for the Olympics. The reason I plugged myself is I just did an explanation video there about the new qualifying procedure. So if you want to understand it more, you can check it out there. And basically, it's no longer about, you know, one massive performance. It's about averaging. It's not even averaging really. It's about totaling together 5 different totals, 5 performances that are all pretty good added together, and then the top 8 will go to the Olympic Games. Lasha is going to do really well with that level of consistency, that requirement to not go too ham, that ability to just plug away, make your lifts. And the super heavies are just not deep enough for him to really worry. Even if he was doing 195, 240, he'd be top 8 in the world, and that's going to be a walk in the park for him. So, is he going to win in LA? Is he going to win a 4th Olympic gold medal? If anybody can do it, it's Lasha. If he's truly back from his injuries. Super heavyweights tend to peak later in their career because they have more body weight. It takes a longer time to reach that level of weight and strength, so they continue on and peak later. He's not going to peak. He's already peaked, but he can certainly do it. Lalian won't want him to. Ali Rubayawi is the dark horse. Ali Reza Yousefi will smash them all in the clean and jerk, but I don't think he'll do it in the snatch. And Gore, you know, never underestimate Gore. Can he do it? Yes. Will he do it? I don't know. Let me know what you think down below.